Looks like it's 2:30. I don't know, Mr. Lyon, do we have a quorum yet or not? Do you think we can start?
I'm in the middle of counting. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have a quorum.
Excellent. Okay, then let's call the meeting. This is February 11th. It's 2:30, and this is the AMATS Technical Advisory Committee. And Mr. Lyon, can you go ahead and do the roll call for me, please?
Yes, sir. Sir. I have an echo. Not sure where that's coming from, but we'll see what we can do here. Mr. Van Hove. Mr. Stitchick.
Present.
Ms. Kilcoyne said she would probably be late and may not make it. Don't see her on the list. Mr. Lindemood. He's on the list, but he's muted. Ms. Acton?
Here.
Ms. McNulty said she might be a little late. I do not see her here yet. Mr. Linnell?
Present.
Mr. Rebuffo is excused. Mr. Colhays?
Here.
Mr. Alimi?
Present.
And Mr. Craps?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, and just for the record, we have 2 policy committee members online, Mr. Weddleton and Ms. Zalatel. So they're both listening in today. So you have a quorum.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Lyon, could you do the public involvement announcement, please?
Sure. All AMATS meetings are open to the public, and the public is invited to comment. What we will have is a presentation by staff or a consultant, and then after that, the committee will be given a chance to discuss the matter. After that, then the public will be invited to comment, and 2 things to remind you about. One is, obviously, we're recording this, but also we have the Teams live chat going on, and so there's a little bit of a delay. One other thing I wanted to point out is that in the Teams meeting chat, Christine has placed a copy of the sign-in sheet. So if you could select that and fill out that, it's for our FHWA Title VI information that they want us to keep track of for every meeting. So folks could actually fill out that sheet by signing in, clicking on the link, etc. In addition, I believe Mr. Van Hove just joined us. So.
Okay, thank you. So we're on to agenda. Can I get an approval of the agenda, please?
This is Matt Stitchick. I move to approve the agenda.
Yeah, this is Alimi, a second.
Thank you. Anyone on the committee, is there any changes that we want to make, or any comments, changes to the agenda? Okay, are there any objections to adopting the agenda? Okay, hearing none, that agenda is approved. So we are on to, we have a December 3rd, 2020 meeting for approval. What am I looking at here, Craig? Why don't you explain this one?
The minutes, the meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Are they not showing on the screen?
Oh, okay, there they are. Sorry, this is, look, it's very small. My poor eyes are having problems here.
Let me try and make it big.
So we have the December 3rd, 2020 minutes for approval. Do we have a motion for adoption?
This is Todd Van Hove. Move to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Brian Lindemood,
second.
I think
Brian's got it.
Okay, or Brian or somebody, one of the 2. Do we have Brian as a second?
We will take Mr. Lindemood as a second.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any changes or any discussion on this? Okay, are there any objections to approval of the minutes? Hearing none, then those are approved. Moving on to agenda item 5A, AMATS, CC Planning and Zoning seat nomination. Craig, can you present that, please?
Yeah, so the AMATS Citizens Advisory Committee, our CAC, has as one of its members a representative of the Municipal Planning and Zoning Commission. We had Brian Looney was our representative on the CAC for quite a while, but he has since stepped off Planning and Zoning Commission. And the chosen replacement, or the person who was interested in replacing him on the AMATS CAC, is Jim Winchester. He's been serving on P&Z for a little bit now. I'm not exactly sure how long, but for a little while. You can see his resume in front of you. He currently, I believe, works at Anchor Sand and Gravel. So he is their choice for serving on the CAC. So we're asking you today to recommend his appointment to the Policy Committee in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lyon. Any questions or comments from the committee on this? Okay, do we have any questions or comments from anybody from the Policy Committee online that would like to speak up?
Nothing from Weddleton. Thank you, though.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so the public was invited to comment by notifying us that their desire to comment, but we don't have any requests. Are we going to wait here for a few seconds? Okay, we have a delay, of course, so we're just going to hang out here for a minute and see if we don't get anybody online that wants to make a comment on this item before we move forward. So.
And I'll just put another plug in for folks going to the into the chat and finding the form there for filling out your information. Click the link and fill that out, and we'll compile that for later.
Okay, I got the thumbs up. What's the will of the committee on this item?
This is Ademi Alimi. I recommend Mr. Jim Winchester for appointment to the Policy Committee.
Actually recommend to the Policy Committee. For his approval on the CAC.
Okay, thank you. I think I need a second here.
This is Matt Stichik. I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion or from the committee on this item? Okay, are there any objections to approving the motion? Okay, hearing none, that motion's approved. Thank you all. We're moving on to agenda item 5B, the AMATS CC name change. Craig, can you present that, please?
I will. So the currently constituted AMATS CAC is the Citizens Advisory Committee. I received a letter on January 21st from Daryl Hess, who is our municipal ombudsman. In addition, he also serves as a public member of the AMATS Bike and Pet Advisory Committee and is their current chair. I sent the letter around, it's been posted, and you have it before you today. And he has recommended that the Policy Committee drop the word citizen from the Citizens Advisory Committee name. As you can see in there, he said, in reviewing the brochure for the Ombudsman Office several years ago, realized that we used the word citizen in several instances, and that the use of the word may have discouraged non-citizens from reaching out to seek our assistance. So he is asking that we, or the Policy Committee, consider changing the name of the Citizens Advisory Committee to something besides the word citizen. I thought he was going to be on today, but I do not see him right now as one of the folks dialed in. So So there you have it. We have the information before you. I can try and answer questions. Before we go one little bit further, I'll just let you know that Ms. McNulty has joined us. We'll say at 2:40 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Lyon. So any questions or comments from the committee on this item?
This is John Linnell. I have a question. What's the definition of a citizen of Anchorage?
Mr. Lyon, can you try and answer that, or?
I don't know that I know for sure. I do know that in discussion in the letter, it talks about a citizen meaning a U.S. citizen.
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a citizen of Anchorage.
One who resides in Anchorage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get a clear understanding what the technical definition of that is. But, are there any other comments?
Yeah, this is
So-
Todd Van Hove. Sorry, I just stepped on somebody.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is Todd Van Hove. I have a question. I said, in this document, he says the word may have discouraged. I think before we jump through a bunch of hoops to change a whole bunch of language and anything like that, I would like a little more clarification on how many people have been affected and whether or not it's affecting anyone. The use of the word may doesn't sound to me like it's a worthwhile avenue to even pursue.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the committee members?
Yeah, I'll echo Todd. I was looking for a demonstrated quantifiable need.
Okay,
But,
thank you.
yeah, the chair, this is Ademi Alimi. I just want to say that according to the dictionary, the citizen of a city can be defined as the residents of a city or town that are entitled to the privileges in the community. That's just the definition of a citizen.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the committee or discussion? Okay, are there anybody from the policy committee want to comment or on this item?
Mr. Chair,
Nothing from Weddleton, thank you.
this is Ms. Alatel. I intend to move a change for Community Advisory Committee at the Policy Committee at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the public was invited to comment on this one. I don't think we don't have anyone that desired to comment on this, but again, we're going to pause here just to make sure because of the delay. So apologize for that, but you don't have to wait till we get the thumbs up from staff here.
Craig, we
Yes.
have Daryl Hess on the live event.
Okay.
So he cannot unmute himself to speak. Is it possible for you to quickly forward him the event for the committee so that he can speak on this matter?
I will attempt to do that. Okay, I sent it along. Hopefully he'll get it in a moment.
This is Todd. We are talking about his document, correct?
He is the one who sent the letter, yes. It looks like he didn't get the regular Teams meeting and only had the teams live. So he should be hopefully signing in momentarily. It says he's on. Mr. Hess, are you on?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I guess I must have clicked the wrong link. I was listening, but I couldn't find any way to unmute.
Got it. So we have, I have started the presentation of the letter that you sent, and we have a few questions. I think one of them, first and foremost, is if we have a definition of the word citizen as it relates to municipal boards and commissions, et cetera. So we started with that.
No, there's no definition in code as far as citizen. I used to go to a lot of community groups and I talk about people being citizens because I would consider anybody who lives in Anchorage to be a citizen of the municipality. But I learned in dealing with different community groups that for somebody who is a refugee or immigrant, the word citizen has a particular connotation. So you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to serve on a board or commission, but the language, the verbiage used to say on the mayor's website, we're always looking for concerned citizens to serve. And we were trying to increase the diversity on boards and commissions, but that verbiage tended to discourage people who might not be U.S. citizens from applying, and you don't have to be a U.S. citizen to serve on a board or commission.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hess. Are there other questions or concerns from committee members or policy committee that on this item that maybe Mr. Hess could answer for us?
Mr. Chair, before we come off there, just one clarification is one thing that can get confusing or is a little bit challenging is that AMATS is not a municipal board and commission. It is a committee of the MPO. So we don't fall under the same rules of municipal boards and commissions. We're not appointed by the mayor solely. That they are a member of the policy committee, but it is not. We are not a municipal board and commission. So that requirement that you don't have to be a citizen isn't necessarily germane to AMATS. Just as a clarification.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if there aren't any other questions or comments on this, I guess we'll go back to what is the committee. Oh,
this is John Linnell. There may be a conflict with the state constitution regarding being a U.S. citizen and serving on a board or commission. That would be something that would need to be looked at because, as Craig pointed out, this isn't just a municipal organization.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments on this?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
This is Darrell. Just one more comment. Ms. McNulty actually had a suggestion to consider the word community rather than resident or public, which is what I had mentioned. So the word community would mean that the acronym that's been used for years could be continued, and it would be less confusing looking at older minutes and agendas and things. So that is something that the group also might consider.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions on this?
This is Matt Stichik, and I think a name change would also probably trigger us to review our bylaw for the who is available to serve as a community member, to make sure that the terms and the bylaws for the committee match what changes you were intending to make.
Yeah, this is Craig. We would have to change the bylaws of the committee as well as the AMATS operating agreement. The operating agreement says CAC and it mentions citizens, so we'd have to tweak that too.
Thank you, Craig. Any other comments?
Yeah, this is Jamie Acton. I just have a question real quick for Craig or staff, and just wondering if this has any negative implications when it comes to FHWA and FTA doing your annual reviews, or what they're looking for when they're looking for a committee like this. Is there specific verbiage that they require?
This is Craig. There is not. It certainly has not come up in our certification over the years. What has come up in the certification is them talking about AMATS and the creation of a Citizens Advisory Committee. As you remember, our Planning and Zoning Commission used to serve as our Citizens Advisory Committee. And so I know there was language in a previous certification where it specifically commended AMATS for the creation of our Citizens Advisory Committee. But other than that, it has not come up as something that we need to do, the name change.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Lyon. Any other comments? Okay, thank you. What's the will of the committee on this item?
This is John Linnell, and I would say since this will affect the operating agreement, I recommend that we table it until a quantified demonstrated need for change is brought forward.
This is Todd. I second that.
Okay, are there discussion about the motion? Okay, are there any objections to approving the motion?
Sorry,
Oh, wait a minute.
this is Michelle McNulty. I had my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Michelle. I have a limited view of people here, so you're going to have to, you're going to have to just jump in. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
I'll try and pay closer attention to hands raised.
Okay.
And I'm not normally shy about jumping in, so I won't start now. I guess I would just, to that point, I guess what to the passers of that motion, what would be a quantifiable and justifiable need?
Would have to come up with numbers or see actual people come forward that haven't been able to participate for some reason.
And that's only because of the complexity of changing the name and its relation to all of the other accompanying documents and as noted bylaws and things. I'm just trying to get a handle on what the perception of the work. Okay.
And I see citizen as been pointed out here. The definition of a citizen is somebody that's a resident of the city.
Right. Even though from their perception. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion on this item? Okay, or is there a objections to approving the motion? Okay, hearing none, then that motion's approved. Okay, Mr. Lyon, do we have any other action items for today?
We do not that I know of.
Okay, thank you. We are moving on to project and plan updates. Are there any updates for today?
None that I know of. Although a quick reminder, we do have the open house for the AMATS non-motorized plan that is coming up. I believe it is next Thursday, the 18th at 5 o'clock. Obviously, it'll be a virtual open house. We will send out reminders on that, but just so folks, if you're interested in that plan and want to see the open house and presentation that Joni has been working on, that is next Thursday, the 18th at 5 o'clock, 5 to 7.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lyon.
Mhm.
We're on to general information updates.
Yeah.
There,
So
you
we
want to
have
go
a
ahead
few,
with that, please?
few of those I want to talk about. One is the TIP amendment number 2. We did have a consultation team meeting recently for the air quality conformity. The conformity has to go out to be reviewed at the same time. So I actually am not 100% certain the status of that. So I know Mr. Stitchick is on the line with us. Maybe he can clarify. It's probably something that is waiting on me to do, but I can't remember. So Matt, if you could clarify what's happening with the conformity analysis after the consultation team meeting.
Yeah, Craig, I had actually assumed that you had already posted it for public review as, but
I don't know
ideally,
if I have a final document.
ideally it would have been recommended for release by the policy committee through the TAC. But I don't know if you're obligated.
Okay, I don't remember getting the final document for that to post and release, so.
Yeah, you got it on January 15th.
Perfect. I can go back and find it and get it posted either today or tomorrow. Okay, that's it for that then.
Okay, you have another one listed here?
Yeah.
2.
So the second one is listed there as COVID relief funding. The Congress passed a coronavirus response and relief supplemental appropriations. We have a notice of just came out January 15th of this year. And so the funding that actually will show up for the state of Alaska, let me just find the exact numbers here. For any area, and the total amount coming to Alaska is 124 million. Of that, the funds that could go to any area is 113 million, and funds that could go to an urbanized area with a population over 200,000, which obviously is Anchorage, would be about just about 11.3 million. Right now, we are not sure exactly how those funds are going to be allocated, et cetera. In other words, we're not sure who gets to decide the allocation of that. We expect a guidance letter to come out from FHWA. It was supposed to come out today, so it hasn't come out yet, and it's late back east, so I imagine not today, but hopefully they'll come out with a guidance letter in the next day or two so we can know whether or not that's something that the MPO will decide or whether the state will decide that. 2 key things to keep in mind about this money is, one, it has it's about a 3-year shelf life, so it has to be spent by, let me get the exact date, September 30th of 2024. And the other thing is that it's 100% share, so there is no local match required on this. These funds are of the same flavor as our usual allocation, although they did get opened up to include costs related to preventative maintenance, routine maintenance, operations, personnel, etc. So it's not just the usual projects and plans, it also has the opportunity of going to maintenance and personnel costs. So as soon as I get that guidance letter, I will share it so we can know whether or not that's something that AMATS will be looking at to decide, or if it's something the state gets to decide. Just want to let folks know. And unless you have any questions, that's it for that one.
This is Todd.
Go ahead, Todd.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just another little bit of information on that. We are also trying to figure out what's going on with that money, since Craig just pointed out it came to the state. The state right now, it's our understanding that the executives haven't released that money yet because they're trying to get some official definitions from FHWA as well as what that money can be used for and where, because it's a new change to open it up to operations and operations maintenance and things like that. So that definition is going to have to come from Washington, D.C., as Craig pointed out, correct? But then the other thing is then what else can that money be used for, and who has to spend it? And we're waiting on some additional definitions, clarifications from either internal FHWA or through their partners back in Washington, D.C. to figure out how that money can be spent, who can spend it, and what it can be spent on. One of the things as far as that the state is looking at, as well as, with the specific amount dedicated to the MPO, is one of the questions asked is, does this money go to the MPO or does it have to be spent within the MPO? Big difference there. So yet another clarification. So anyway, just to add on to that, yes, out of that entire, there are actually two complete allocations of money, and one of them included some additional supplemental money for bridges and alternative fuel corridor monies and other things. So there's a lot in those two appropriations, and we're still looking for clarifications on both of them. That's all.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on this one? All right, Craig, you're on your last one, quarterly obligation report.
This is the first quarter obligation report, which should be showing up on your screen momentarily. The thing to keep in mind at the first quarter here is that we're supposed to be, I think it's plus or minus 15%, and we're a little minus 4.64%. So we're just a little bit under what we had expected. We have so far in column C is what's already been obligated. So we've obligated the O'Malley Road money, the safety traffic counts for the MOA, the pavement replacement, a chunk of those. And if you scroll on down, you can see that we pretty much obligated most of the stuff in our CMAQ table. So we are on track right now. We're actually looking pretty good at just a little under or minus 4.64, which is well within what we're supposed to be in this first quarter. So if you have any other questions between myself and James and other folks at DOT, we should be able to answer them, but that's about it for that.
Thank you. Any questions on this one? Comments, questions, anybody? Okay, thank you. Let's see, the floor is open now for comments from the committee. Anybody from the committee have any comments? Okay, hearing none, we're going to gavel out. Thank you all for participation. The meeting's adjourned and it is 3 o'clock, 3:03. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.